Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Time for a quick garden meat rabbit update. Hadn't done one in a few weeks. I figured I'd go ahead and do one and kind of sort of pre-wrap up the summertime garden and get prepared for the fall garden and what's going to happen in the basement with the hydroponics and upcoming aquaponics and all that good stuff. So onto the containers. The bell pepper plant is laid over, but as you can see, it's still throwing out peppers like nuts. I'm going to cut this back and bring it inside for the winter because the second year it should really do well. This is a second bell pepper plant that I grew from seed. It'll be inside during the winter. I'm going to see how it does overwintering it and let it produce. This is another one, a backup. I'm going to bring them both inside. The onions have kind of just like, they were pretty banged up to begin with. I didn't really expect much, but we'll see what happens. Obviously the squash are down for the count. The okra is insane. I've already picked 8 or 10 off of these two plants, and they were delicious. I'm saving some for seed that's going to be part of the giveaway. But now remember, these are the okra that were planted in nothing but rabbit manure. I have done nothing to them but water them, and look at the size of these stalks. I mean, they're just massive. One thing I have noticed with the rabbit manure is the level is decreasing, which means that the plants are basically eating the nutrients out of the rabbit manure, which is awesome. So that worked really, really well. I'm going to kick it up a notch next year. This is the banana pepper plant. It's still producing. Not a whole lot, but it's still producing. I don't know if you can overwinter the banana pepper plants, but I'm going to try it and see it. I may research it and find out if you can. I'll cut it up. I'll butcher it back and bring it inside. The cayenne plant, still throwing out peppers like crazy. The sweet potatoes, they're growing. They're doing their thing. We'll see what happens. But yeah, they're growing. I've never grown them before, so we'll see what happens. They should be ready to go towards the end of November, beginning of December, hopefully around Thanksgiving time. If not, definitely by Christmas. Let's go down here to the watermelon and cantaloupe. The watermelon and cantaloupe started out really, really good. It's my fault they kind of went to crap. But I think they got overwatered. I was watering them, and then we got some really good rain, and the cantaloupe, the one that was growing, it just split, and then the ants got to it, so it went to nothing. So I'm fixing to pop it open. I may save some seeds from it. I doubt it, simply because I've got a bag full of seeds from that 20-pound cantaloupe that I had. The watermelon plant, the same thing. It's got a dinky little watermelon on it. But I think what happened, these things are such nutrient hogs. I think they just depleted the rabbit manure super, super fast. I mean, they were brilliant green one day, and then 2 days later they were yellow and all the leaves were falling off. And granted, the wild rabbits did get to them and munch on them a little bit, but this was just to see how it went in the rabbit manure. So I may pop this little fella open when the stem gets brown and just see how it did. Okay, on to the tomatoes. This is the big boy that was doing awesome all year. It's still producing tomatoes. I've pulled several off of here. This is in the soil with the rabbit manure fertilizer. That's the beefsteak. This is the Cherokee purple. It's still got a few fruit on it. It's still producing. This is the big Zack. It's got a few fruit left on it. I've got one pretty decent sized one inside, and then these here I'm going to save the seeds on. Now here's the really interesting, crazy part. I'm going to show you the hydroponic tomatoes, and you remember the one in the middle, how it's died on me like 4 times, and I'll just like whatever, die. And it just keeps coming back. I quit feeding these things. I have not put any nutrients in the water in probably 6 to 8 weeks. At minimum 6 weeks. I haven't done anything with these plants. I'm just like, whatever. You guys remember the video. I said I was done with the hydroponics. All right, so this one, obviously dead and gone. All right, just dead and gone. This one, dead and gone. The one that kept dying over and over, it just started growing again. I haven't done anything to it. I haven't added any nutrients to it. I haven't watered it. Nothing. It just started growing. And not only did it just start growing, it's got flowers. It's putting out flowers. Where is it at? Can you see it? There it is. Yeah, it's putting out flowers. It's got buds. So what I'm gonna do with this plant, since this is by far the most bad ass tomato plant. I mean, I literally killed this thing 4 times and it just comes back on its own. So I'm gonna pull some suckers off of this. I already saved 2 of the fruit that were on it for seeds. I'm gonna pull some suckers off of this, and I'm gonna do it in soil with the hydro nutrients, and I'm gonna bring it inside, and we're gonna grow this thing over the winter and see if it'll keep producing. Yeah, so I mean, it refuses to die. I mean, it's just crazy. It came back on its own. Speaking of which, the seeds, I'm gonna do a live stream. I can't do it tonight because I've got the canning live stream. I'm gonna do a live stream 2,500 subscriber giveaway, and what I'm probably gonna give away is seeds from this garden. I've got seeds from the okra, I've got seeds from the bell pepper, I've got seeds from the banana peppers, the cayenne peppers, I've got seeds from the tomatoes, and I've got seeds from that massive 20-something pound cantaloupe that I had. And I've got seeds from this kick-ass tomato plant. And I think I'm just going to put together a seed packet and have that as the giveaway for the 2,500 subs. But stay tuned for an update when I do the live stream. I'll try to pick a time when everybody can be there, because what I'm going to do is just pick somebody from the chat. I'm not going to do a drawing and have people, do crazy stuff to get into the drawing. What I'm just going to do is, if you're in the chat and you're a member, or excuse me, if you're in the chat and you're a subscriber, it'll be a subscriber only live. Only subscribers can make comments, put it that way. And then I'll come up with like a really weird trivia question or something and just have you guys just start guessing the answer, and whoever gets it or gets the closest is going to win. And I think I'm going to give away like first, second, and third. I think we're going to have like 3 winners. I'm going to give away 3 seed packets. Okay, on to the meat rabbits. They're doing great. I just rebred Za about a week ago to Tribe, and I bred Milkmaid Jr. Here she is in the front. I bred her about 22 or 23 days ago. So she should be ready and start making her nest here within the next week. So hopefully I should have some baby rabbits from her pretty soon. I'm excited. She's a huge rabbit. She's awesome. There's 5 of the little babies. I've got 5 in that cage. And then the other 4 are under this tarp in this cage. But they're all doing well. And here's the really crazy part. They changed colors. I started with 3 black, 3 gray, and 3 red. 3 solid black, 3 that look just like Tribe, and 3 that look just like Za. And now I've got 3 black, I've got 2 gray that look like Za. They're both in that cage there. And one of the grays just decided to turn red, and they're all 4 in this cage here, and they all look just like Tribe. But there's Za. She's doing good. There is the buck that's going to native. There's the cage with the 2 creme d'argents, and I mean, look at the size. These rabbits are massive. I mean, they're huge. They're like really, really big. I mean, compare them to Tribe, and everybody knows how big Tribe is, and they're almost the size of Tribe. So the rabbits are getting huge. They're all doing good. I plan on tearing all this out and redoing this rabbitry. I came up with a different design, one that'll be more efficient and easier to deal with the rabbits, and cost effective, because that is a big factor, because it's a lot of lumber involved in doing it. But I've come up with a way to streamline it to where I'll be using a fraction of the lumber, and it'll be much easier to access the rabbits. They'll be much safer. They'll be protected from the elements, but they'll be getting massive amounts of fresh, clean air. I like this open setup that I have, even though it's still covered with tarps because I'm expecting rain. I like the open setup because they're getting fresh air, and it keeps them, I think having fresh air and being able to see the sunlight is like really good for them. So that's the way I want to do it, and have it open. So the rabbitry, when I get done with it, it's definitely going to have a roof, but I don't believe I'm going to have any sides on it whatsoever. They're going to be up off the ground. They'll be suspended in the air so the predators can't get to them. And they'll be easy to keep clean and easy to maintain. So the rabbits are doing good. Hopefully here in the next week, Milkmaid Jr. should give me at least 6 or 8. And then Za her second litter. She went through the traumatic experience with the dog attack, and it's kind of changed her demeanor a little bit. She's really standoffish now. She doesn't like to be petted or played with. She's really skittish when I open the cage, but she's starting to calm down. And an update on her, I haven't told anybody, just simply because I'm milkmaid. Za was like the first mama rabbit, and everybody loves Za. And but she actually did get wounded in the dog attack on her shoulder, and so that's why I haven't bred her until now. I've been giving her time to heal. She's healed up really, really well. And I figured it was time to go ahead and breed her, so I bred her about a week ago. But I was really worried about her there for a while. She was really standoffish. I kept the wound clean, and it seems to have healed up really, really good. There was no infection, so she's doing really good. So I did lose 2. I was worried about Za, but she pulled through. She's tough. But other than that, the rabbits are doing good. The garden, it didn't produce a whole lot of anything this year. I got a lot of peppers. That's one thing I did get. I got a lot of cayennes, a lot of banana peppers, and quite a few bell peppers. It didn't produce hardly anything other. I got quite a few tomatoes, not a lot, but several. But it was a learning experience, with the containers. I think that painting them black and the sunlight heating it up, I think that had an effect. It just made the roots really, really hot. So next year, if I do the containers outside like this, what I'll do is I'll still, keep them painted black, but on the outside of the black, I may spray paint them white to keep the buckets cool so the sun won't penetrate, but they shouldn't heat up. Or I may actually experiment. What I'm thinking about is, because right here where they're pretty much in the shade for half the day, so they're only getting sun about half the time. What I may do is maybe, I don't know. What I'm thinking about I may do is just over the winter, I'm thinking about just fertilizing this sand, which is basically what this dirt is here where I live. It's just dumping all my rabbit manure here in this sand and getting a tiller and turning it real good, and just try planting in the ground next year after it's been, pummeled with rabbit manure for the entire winter, and see how that goes. Not positive on that. I may just do a test pot and do them in the ground. Like obviously the cantaloupes and the watermelons need to be in the ground because they just need so much fertilizer and food. So I may just do like a little test plot in the ground and super fertilize it with rabbit manure, and still do the containers. I'm either going to go up in size on the tomatoes, like maybe this size, or just experiment a little bit different with, the different colors of the buckets, the sunlight, and different kinds of nutrients. I may kick up the amount of rabbit manure that they get, because they didn't get that much this year. I switched from the rabbit manure to the hydroponic nutrients, which is probably what I'm going to do. I think, because I had so much success with these this year, I think next year it'll be start to finish. It'll be hydro nutrients in the soil, and I'll run the container gardens that way, because they were very, very successful. As far as the hydro goes, outside, it wasn't a complete disaster. I did learn a lot. I learned I got a really tough strain of tomato right here, and I'm going to propagate that and keep it for years and years. But I think I'll shift the hydro mainly to inside. I got my pump, I ordered it. I got to get the hoses and all that good stuff and build the system. Probably going to do a green wall in the basement for, lettuces and things like that, and greens and stuff over the winter. And I may experiment with a hydro bucket and just run 1, maybe 2 tomato plants so I can get some fresh tomatoes, all winter long. And then obviously keep the peppers going. And I'm going to do the potatoes indoors as well, because I will harvest these sweet potatoes end of November, beginning of December, somewhere around there. And then I'm going to immediately replant at least 2, maybe 4 buckets in the basement, and I will grow them under grow lights. The buckets will be heavy, when I move them outside, but I'll have at least January and February. They won't be that big. The foliage on them won't be that big being grown inside. So January and February, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get a jump start on the growing season for next year. So when I bring these outside in March and start getting some sunlight in April and start getting some sunlight, I think that it'll give me like about a 60-day head start on the growing season, so I should be able to get 2 batches of tomatoes done completely outside next year. So the goal is to grow them completely inside. I probably could. I may actually try to do that. That may be my experiment. Like if I plant 4 buckets, I'll bring 2 outside when it warms up. I'll keep 1 or 2 inside and just continue to water them and give them the grow lights, and then compare the production of them at the end of the 4 months. Yep, that's a great idea. That's what I'm going to do. All right, that's it for the update, guys. If you guys haven't subscribed to my Ghost Canner channel, please do. We'll be going live tonight for a canning live stream at 8 p.m. I look forward to seeing you guys there. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you later.